Hello ducklings, my name is Sanniz. This is not a planned video, but I felt that I needed to do one because I saw NiteMareBliss with her No Tag Tuesday, all about 80s, and because the answers should be too many and my comments even more. So I thought I'd do this like a video for her, and you can go and check her channel too, because she will soon get 600 subscribers and then she's gonna have a big giveaway. So please go and check her out. But first, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share, and press the notification bell. Stick around. Hello darklings again. So, if you didn't know it, I am Sanniz, I live in Sweden, and I am Generation X. That's why I thought this all about the 80s No Tag Tuesday was so great, and I wanted to do a quick one myself, or quick and quickly. We try to see how fast this goes. I'm gonna read from the papers and maybe put in some pictures during the video too, but NiteMareBliss things you can see in the description box to a channel and to this video I'm answering on, because my comments should be too long and too many on her box. So we start with that. Who was your favorite 80s band? Did you really need to ask that? Most obviously, of course, Sisters of Mercy, but to count other bands, but not many in Eldergoth only. So because I grew up in the 80s, it's much more music than that. So it will be Sisters of Mercy, New Order, Siouxsie and the Banshees, Duran, Adam and the Ants, Depeche Mode, WASP, Mötley Crue, and so much more. Because if you have go for an example and watch MTV's 80s, you're gonna find out that 80s was a great, it was great years with music. It was so much good music, and most of the music is still popular today. So what are we talking about? It's very hard to pick anything. Of course, we come down to the next question. What was your favorite 80s song? This is gonna be tricky too, but if you're gonna go after what I was playing on my car stereo, on my first cars, that should be Don't Forget About Me with Simple Minds, Blue Monday, New Order, Sisters of Mercy, Bud Electric, Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Around Like a Record, Like a Virgin with Madonna, Prince Charming with Adam and the Ants, White Wedding with Billy Idol, Spellbound with Siouxsie and the Banshees, Kickstart My Heart, Mötley Crue, I Wanna Be Somebody with WASP. And if you have seen earlier videos with me, you should know that during the 80s and that time when I would grow up like a kid, all the kids that was not the mainstream ones tried to stick together. So that's why I can listen to like hard rock and metal music too, and little other types too. And they could probably listen to goth music because it was punkheads, it was metalheads, hard rock. The people we call for synthare is the one that only like electronic music, like Depeche Mode, Kraftwerk, Duff, I think one was called, and I think even another one was called Front 242, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. But it was we against them, so that's why I can spread my sheets. But it's of course other music that is more to what we was saying today, like in the mainstream music. But during back then, even the thing that was coming to be goth music was kind of mainstream because it was on the lists where I was living. The name goth came later for me. It came first in the 90s. I knew that world because I only knew like punks and that type of things, but I never fitted 100% in those boxes that were the other ones. But when goth came and I saw the bands and everything, I knew I'm a goth, but I didn't know about it before. This was a long answer, so we go to the next one, of course. Did you do any trends from the 80s? Example, neon colored clothes, big hair, and that type of things. believe it or not, yes, I had neon colored socks at work, and people, if they couldn't see the upper bit of you, because some places it was machines in a way, but you could still see through on the floor level. So they always knew if it was me coming because they could see my socks. And I have really bright neon color ones. And I even have those plastic bracelets. But mostly I use the white and black ones, but there were color ones too. I think we have a lot of plastic earrings too, if I don't remember correctly wrong. And the ones we didn't want to use plastic, we can use those metal rings too. That was very popular. You should have like as many as possible, then you were cool. And the other things when I was younger was that we used something in Swedish we called discopärlor. And what I should say in English, you can say some kind of pony beads. But I'm gonna put a picture so you know exactly which type, because it's not every type of pony beads. And it was a little hard to Google the ones that we used because we had the more transparent ones, but we didn't have that fancy like I find on the picture, but it was still cute ones. And we often wear them attached to a long string and tie them to our jeans or whatever we have for clothing, or we actually braided it into the hair. And then we had leg warmers. Those was many times even in those neon colors too. And I loved to dress like Madonna. Madonna came in the 80s and I really loved her style. And I have something that was called a Takano dress that was very popular during the end of the 80s. It was both boys and girls was wearing them, and they were from different type of colors and everything, but mine was black with white text. And I'm gonna put an example on the picture so you know what it is. And it's not a dress, it's more an Takano overall or whatever you should call it, but it's pants and a shirt or collar shirt type of things. It was that type of material. And then we go further, so we are not bore you out about the 80s. How old were you in the 80s? I can't really talk. How old were you in the 80s? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I'm born 68. Took my graduation 88 and got an engineer degree. So I was finished school later than most people, but at least I was reading something that gave me a title back then. But I don't work like an engineer, so don't worry. What was your favorite sitcom from the 80s, if you have one? And I have to Google here to take some that was really 80s and not that we still watch through the 80s, but it was maybe from the 70s. So the first one, more obvious one, was The Young Ones, and you should check that up, especially if you're an alternative people, because that humor and everything, and they were really that hype on that type of things. And then we got Married with Children that started in late 80s and went over to the 90s and further. So that was the two ones that I can count as the 80s one. Of course I had a lot of others, but they were too early in the most time when I started to check when it came, or the ones I was thinking was maybe that old was not old enough to be in the 80s. So it was not that easy to find the good ones, especially if you need even to have the English title, because we often rename it to a Swedish one over here. And then of course we came to the other stuff. Who was your crush in the 80s? Singer, actor, or whatever? So I skip the actors bit and I skip whatever, because of course I have my crush even when it comes to the real life. But if you go for the artist, it was John Taylor from Duran, Billy Idol, Pete Burns from Dead or Alive, Adam Ant from Adam and the Ants, and I actually had a crush on Madonna too, because I thought she was so cool, handsome and everything, beautiful, you name it, creative, and she dared to do those things that I didn't dare always, because back then in the 80s I wanted to do a lot of stuff, but I didn't do that at home. I did it when I was with friends, but not home, if you know what I mean. Then we come to what was your favorite movie from the 80s? And I only gonna say three ones. And it should be Breakfast Club, Desperately Seeking Susan, and in that movie, actually, Madonna was one of the actors or actresses. And of course, Top Gun. No one have missed Top Gun with all this military flights and everything, motorcycles, cool guys, cool girl, and even the band Berlin. Take my breath away. No, I'm not gonna sing, I'm bad. So, then we go further. And this is a really ridiculous question if you're from the 80s. Did you ever make mixed tapes like love songs and dance? Of course we did. Was it any kid in the 80s that never did it? The problem was to actually get the song without someone talking about it, because we didn't have computers, we didn't have internet and that type of things to get things, and it was not that easy to get records either, and often either you took a tape and recorded from a friend that have the album or something, or you were sitting there by the radio in a radio show or whatever you were listening to for the moment, and your song came and you were ready on the button with the record and even on the stop in the end, and you really hated when they started to talk too long in the beginning or started to talk in the end, because it was almost impossible to record a whole song without interruption or something. But it was many times mixtape too, because you had friends that was not like you all the time, so you have little of everything sometimes. And of course you had your special ones too. But cassette bands, there was, and the worst thing was when the record player actually started to what we called chew the tape. And if you're born in the 80s, you know what you use a pen for. You know what you use a tape for too, and that is to protect what you have just recorded, so you're not accidentally gonna record over that again if you want to keep it. But that's all I'm gonna say. The rest you can Google or whatever. And then we come to the second last question, that is, did you own a Swatch watch? Swatch? I don't know which way to pronounce it, but yes, I actually had one. I don't think I had the most expensive one, but it didn't last long. I was really bad when it came to using watches, and the work I had back then destroyed all my watches all the time, so I didn't buy any fancy ones. And that was before I got a smartphone and that type of things. Nowadays I don't even use watches anymore, because I have always my watch with me when it comes to that type of things. So, last question. What kind of car did you or your family own in the 80s? When it comes to my family, I don't remember the models, but I know the brands my dad loved to buy, and it was 3 brands: Audi, Mercedes and Volvo. And when it comes to myself, my first car was a Turbo Samba. Don't even dare ask me what that was, but it reminds about one of the smaller Volkswagen Golf models in how it looked like back then. And when I sold that one, I got an Ford Escort XR3i, and that was my dream car back then. But it came circumstances in the last bit of the 80s when I had to sell that one too, because I had to move very fast from home because I was angry. But that's a completely different story. So this was that tag about all about the 80s, and I couldn't resist it, so you're gonna have this like a bonus video. And if you liked it, put your thumbs up. If you didn't like it, of course you can put the thumbs down, but don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. And I should wish that I'm gonna reach 500 this year, or at least in the end of the year, because I'm so want to do these comments on the community things, and I can't do it before I reach that number. But now, this was all for this time, and don't forget to go and check NiteMareBliss. She's an awesome Eldergoth with a lot of different interests. You should like her, love her, because I do love her. So, stay safe, stay weird, and be nice to each other. Thanks for watching. Bye.